Hey everybody, welcome back to another Tuesday grilling video, and this is part of our culinary circumnavigation of Jamaica. We've been having a blast doing a bunch of dishes from Jamaica. It certainly brings Deb and I right back to the islands, and today a classic curry chicken, and Jamaican curry chicken specifically. As you know, on this channel we do everything outside on one of our grills, but we are going to be cooking this in an aluminum pot. We'll show you that in a minute. Let me show you what the ingredients are. Pretty simple. You certainly need some chicken. Classic Jamaican style, island style, is going to be bone in. So we have leg quarters that we will cut up into thighs and legs. We have one medium onion, one Scotch bonnet pepper. Ooh, leave the little wrapper on that to avoid touching it. One green onion. We have 3 cloves of garlic. We have some Jamaican curry powder. Now there are all kinds of different curries. You definitely don't want to get one that's not a Jamaican curry. So look for one that actually has either the Jamaican flag on it, or it says Jamaican curry or West Indian curry. What you don't want is an Indian curry or a Thai curry. We're going to be using some dry thyme. If you have fresh, that would be even better. We're going to be using ground allspice. Now, this is actually what in Jamaica they refer to as pimento berries. It's actually the whole allspice. And when we buy ground allspice here in the US, that is exactly what it is. It's just ground up pimento berries. We're going to be using a little bit of the adobo all-purpose seasoning. Use your favorite seasoned salt or seasoning. And then I really enjoy this Sazon Tropical. We're going to be using just a little bit of that as well. Pretty simple. We're first going to go ahead and cut up all these ingredients, and I'll show you how we marinate this chicken before we're going to stew it in a pot. I just realized this chicken we bought actually looks like it was already seasoned, and it's kind of odd. They actually looks like they sawed it right in half. There's going to be a bit of an odd shape. That's all right though. We're going to cut right between the leg and the thigh. We're just going to put that right into our seasoning bowl. We're going to cut off some of the excess skin here. Okay, with our chicken all cut up, we're now just going to go ahead and apply some of our seasoning. So we'll put in a little bit of thyme. Again, this is dried thyme. If you have fresh, that would be even better. We're looking for about a teaspoon or so for 4 or so pieces of chicken. Now, if you're using whole pimentos, you would want to put in 4 or 5. We're using ground allspice, so I'm just going to put in about a half a teaspoon or so of that. I'm now going to use my adobo seasoning. Again, I'm a fan of this stuff just for a multi-purpose seasoning. Use your favorite seasoned salt or seasoning. We're going to put in about 2 teaspoons of this, not quite a tablespoon. And then I like this Sazon Tropical. It's pretty good for some extra flavor and color. We're going to do, about a teaspoon or so of that. And now we're going to put in about 2 teaspoons of Jamaican curry powder. Now, I'm not measuring this, as you can see. It's okay. We just want to get a little bit in there. So we want to put in about 2/3 of a medium-sized onion, 1 green onion, 3 to 5 cloves of garlic, and 1 Scotch bonnet pepper. I like to do them in about 1/4 to 1/2 inch chunks and go all the way into the edge of the green where it's still light green. All right, just going to chop these up nice and small. Now, I am a real wimp when it comes to these peppers, so I am going to leave it whole and only poke 1 hole in it to let some flavor come out of it. That's it. Any more than that and I'm hurting. I think I'm just going to use a half of an onion. Feel free to do this to the way you like the taste. It doesn't have to be exact here, folks. All right, so the next step is to mix this up. You really want to let this marinate. Overnight is best, but certainly if you do it for 2 to 4 hours, that'll be good as well. Put just a touch of olive oil or whatever your favorite oil is in here. I should have done this in a bigger bowl, I can already tell. But your goal here is to get this very well mixed. You want all of this to be touching the chicken and let all of that marinade, those vegetables and even the curry powder, get right on each of those pieces of chicken. And they should have this nice orange, yellow curry color, just like you're seeing here. That's exactly what you want. Keep in mind, you got a Scotch bonnet in here. Feel free to wear gloves or do this with a spatula. I will be immediately washing my hands before I go put this in the fridge and let it sit for a few hours. So we've got our chicken that's been marinating in the fridge, and you can just see that color. It's beautiful yellow from that Jamaican curry. So what we're doing is, I actually have this inside of a pot, hot pot, so I'm not going to pick it up. but it's an aluminum one. You can use a cast iron double Dutch oven sort of style. That would be great as well. And I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of this. While this is getting hot, I'll tell you, normally in Jamaica, this would be cooked on a stovetop, and we'd like to do everything out here on the grill. I could certainly be using the side burner and cooking it just like a regular pot, but I decided to do it right on the Blackstone. This cast iron plate, this flat top, gets really hot and stays at a consistent temperature. It's going to be nice for trying to keep an even temperature this whole time. The question might be, well, why not just brown the chicken directly on the Blackstone? I certainly could. However, I want to deglaze the pan and get all of that flavor that's going to come from doing that. Let's get started. With our oil's in there and it's nice and hot. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our pieces of chicken here, and we want to take the majority of the vegetables off of here. The onion, the pepper, the garlic, and the Scotch bonnet pepper. If one or two gets in there, it's not a big deal, but ideally we'd take them off of there. But don't throw them away. We're going to save them and use them in a little bit. There's my Scotch bonnet pepper in here. As you recall, I mentioned that's really hot. We're going to leave that in there. We definitely don't want to break it. If I broke it inside of this sauce that we'll be making, it would be too hot for me personally. I know some people like the heat. I just can't handle Scotch bonnet, not once it's been cut up and have the seeds in there. So we're just going to let this saute and brown for about 3 to 5 minutes on each side. Probably for me it's going to be on the 5 to 6 minute side given the temperature of this as it climbs. We just want to brown each side of it. We'll flip them over here in about 5 more minutes. We'll show you what it looks like. So it's been about 5 or 6 minutes or so. We're just going to go ahead and flip these over. Let me kind of show you what they're looking like. All we're looking for is a little bit of brown on one side like that. Okay, it's been about another 5 or 6 minutes. We're just going to flip these over. And again, I'm not necessarily trying to cook these completely. I'm trying to brown them a little bit. Get a lot of nice flavor on them, because in the end, this is going to have a sauce and a curry sauce that it's going to cook in. Almost a little bit like sous videing it. As long as the liquid temperature is above cooked temperature, then your chicken will be done. And it can go longer than your typically, 165 on the grill, pull it right off. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to move this around a little bit. I'm going to add just a tad bit more oil. And I'm going to saute these vegetables for just a couple minutes before adding water to it. I've got my Scotch bonnet just sitting over here for a minute. And this is everything that we marinated this chicken in. Spring onion, green onion, pepper, seasoning, curry, one Scotch bonnet. So when I'm doing something like this, I really like these teak flat spoons. It's kind of like a wooden spoon but flat. I'm just scraping along the bottom of the pan. The reason I'm doing that is I'm deglazing it a little bit with these sauteed vegetables. So where that chicken sort of stuck to the bottom of the pan, there's a ton of great flavor there. And we want to get that all incorporated into this oil, which is going to ultimately help flavor our overall curry. Again, when you're doing this, be very cautious of that Scotch bonnet pepper. You don't want to be so rough you break that open, or at least I don't want to. You can do what you want with the spice, but I'm a wimp when it comes to really hot stuff. And Scotch bonnet peppers are no joke. If you're not familiar with them, they are hotter than habaneros, just to give you a little bit of a comparison. All right, our vegetables are looking pretty good. What we're going to do now is take some warm water, and we're going to use the marinade bowl we had before, and we're just going to kind of rinse it out with this. Let's get all that great flavor right in here. Now, I'm probably doing about a cup of water. I'm just pouring it around the outside of the pan. We want this to heat back up again, and we'll keep an eye on it. We don't want this to dry out all the way, but I don't want it to be a soup either. Ideally, what we're gonna do is cook this down so that it's a thick sort of curry sauce that'll go over the rice that we'll serve it with. All right, I've got my chicken sitting all fairly close to one another, right in the center, and you want your liquid to be just up over the edge of the chicken. You don't necessarily need it completely covering it, but you definitely want it covering enough of it that it's going to heat up and cook that chicken. I'm just going to cover this. We'll come back and check on this in about 20 to 25 minutes. I'll show you what it looks like now, and then as it cooks down, we'll show you a little bit more. Okay, so this has been on for about 30 minutes or so, and it is looking and smelling wonderful. I will say, it looks like this Scotch bonnet pepper may have broken. I'm going to be very carefully picking it up and putting it right on my teak spatula. I think it might still be intact, but that's important for me. just because I don't know if I can handle it otherwise. I'm actually gonna let this continue to cook. I wanna render some of this liquid down and let it thicken up a little bit as it does. Look at that, this chicken's just nice and done. We'll go ahead and plate this up. Give it a try. We're doing it on some jasmine rice. Certainly this would normally be served over pigeon peas and rice, but it's what we have and it's gonna be delicious. We're certainly gonna get a little bit of this, this curry sauce on here too. All right, we'll give this a shot. First of all, the chicken is moist and delicious, and that curry flavor is really good. A tiny, tiny bit of heat from that Scotch bonnet, not too much. It's not overpowering. It's not the kind where you have to look for your drink immediately. It really is good. But wait a minute, I just found something that's gonna make this better. Hold on, hold on. This is one of those things that immediately brings me back to Jamaica. It's if you've never had it, it's delicious. It's called ting. It's a grapefruit soda. First of all, it's really good with some spiced rum in it. Had a lot of those in Jamaica hanging out on the beaches, but absolutely delicious. I hope you've enjoyed this recipe. Again, curry chicken, Jamaican style curry chicken. Easy to do. Keep following us, check these videos out. If you've been enjoying this, do us a favor, give it a like, subscribe to it. This is our culinary circumnavigation of the island of Jamaica. Bye y'all, safe and happy grilling. And as they say, respect, respect the rules, because I'm not touching the off button like that. All right, so if we were doing our prep right here and then we came over here, I think we can see the pot. You can see my hands going in that. How's that for a goddamn test? I'm gonna take a look at, I knew I was eventually gonna step right on my cup I put down there in the shade.